because I came here with the intention of bringing closure to that event and really making the most of it. And what it's really done is opened up a whole new view of life for me. Nearly 2 years ago today, I was almost killed. I was hiking along, minding my own business, and a rock just hit me in the head. Just like that. And it hit me right over here. And I went down. Even though I didn't physically die that day, that moment when that rock hit me on my head, I thought my life was over. And I passed out and I woke up. And it was a true miracle that I'm here right now. I had to stop and figure out what happened. And then I did a self-assessment. I checked my neck, I checked my back, moved my arms really slowly. I didn't know if I moved my arms if I would become paralyzed. And that moment of getting up, when I took my first movement to get up, just to get up, was the scariest moment I've ever experienced, because I didn't know if I was going to paralyze myself. And I got up, I took a breath, and then I almost passed out again as I stood up. I was overheated, I clearly had a concussion, and I had one major headache, and I was spinning out of control. And so I stood up and caught my balance, and I had to figure out where I was and how I got there and where to go. Which way to go. I didn't know where I was completely disoriented. So I started walking around, and I found these footsteps in the sand, and they were going this way, and I was facing that way. And I would think that if I hadn't found those footsteps, I would have gone in the other direction, and I probably would have died. I don't know how I made it out of there. I just don't know how I made it out of there. I had my right hand on top of my head the entire time, holding the hole closed so that I wouldn't bleed to death. Like this, hiking out. I had my Camelback on, and there's no cell phone service here. There's no way to communicate with anybody, and there was no one around. I knew that I had to take responsibility for my emotions. I knew that I did. And so I kept saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm alive. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm in an emergency room. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm surrounded by angels. God's timing is perfect. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm home. And all I did was I focused on gratitude. I focused on everything positive that I could think of. And I mean, I was stumbling. I was dizzy. I had no idea which way was forward. I kept looking for the cans on the path. As I would just follow them. My whole hope was to get to the Pueblo Bonito Overlook. That's all my entire focus was, to get to the Overlook. Because I knew if I got there, someone would find me, because that's the most popular place on this trail. I remember the taste of my blood. I remember I finally made it to the Pueblo Bonito Overlook. And I was like in despair. I mean, it was like, and there was no one there. And I fell to the floor crying. And I thought my life was going to end right there, because I didn't have the strength to continue on. I didn't have it. And I curled up in a fetal position and I just said a prayer. All these fear, pain. And that prayer was answered. And all that tears and fear and everything just raised right up through me like this fountain. energy and light and love. And I stood up, grabbed a little bit of water that I had left and rinsed my eyes. And I just kept hiking. I'm about 50 feet away from the bottom of this crevasse here, and then it's just a short hike to the parking lot. And these last few steps were pretty treacherous. They were scary. I actually tripped about 10 feet below me. I had my hand on my head over here, and I was out of balance, and I was using my other hand to balance myself against the rock. And I actually tripped and fell forward, and I caught myself against one of these rock sides here, and that prevented me from doing a full face plant, which probably by that point would have killed me. So, hello, I'm still alive. I'm so happy and grateful to be alive. Whew. I lived in the moment that day for the first time in my life. In the moment, not in the past, not in the future, in the moment. And that's where all the power is. Thank you so much again for joining me in this moment. Lots of love to all of you that are viewing this. Namaste.